Something I realized the other day when I was doing my morning routine, journaling, scripting, meditation, all the things, is that there was a time where I felt like nothing that I manifested came to pass, which I know is not true because many things did. But something I recognize about a lot of stuff that came to pass was lacking like a sort or an amount of intention. And a lot of those manifestations were coming from the wrong place. And that wrong place was desperation. Now, I feel like I did a video about desperation before. And if I haven't, we're going to come back to that and do another one. But manifesting from desperation was quite literally the worst because everything that came to pass from those manifestations was always just not quite right. It was lacking intention and it was definitely out of alignment. And I feel like that space of desperation comes from a place of our need to survive. And in our need to survive, we cope. And in that space, what I lost that I greatly needed was the connection to my feelings. Which, if you know anything about manifesting, your feelings are the greatest tool to actually getting what it is that you desire. So, as you can imagine, manifesting without your feelings is quite literally crazy. It would explain the disconnect between what my desires were and what I was receiving. Because even if I did receive it, it just was out of alignment, not connecting. And it makes sense because I was not connecting. And if you are kind of struggling to manifest, then it might be what you're missing too. A lot of us are not feeling forward, which is not a surprise in the world we live in because we spend so much time trying to hustle, grind, get through life. And in a culture designed or a society designed where work, achievement, and success are some of the main focuses, in order to hit those things, we have to bury the things that make us feel most alive most often. And I didn't even realize I was doing this. It wasn't until I was in therapy and I was explaining something very catastrophic that had taken place in my family dynamics. And if you know anything about family dynamics, then you know things can get very crazy. And I'm going through the process and I'm telling her, it's just this and this and this and this and this. And when I finished, my therapist said, okay, now that you told me what you think about it, tell me how you feel. And in that very instant, I was kind of like, I just told you how I feel. But what I recognized was that I wasn't describing feelings, I was literally just analyzing thoughts. As a studying clinician or future therapist who already sees clients, I see the same thing happening with my clients that I saw in myself. It becomes so easy to settle into the thoughts because Digging into the feelings can be hard and it can hurt. And pain really has no place in trying to survive. And so, a lot of times, the pain we feel from our past will send us into a numbness that we need in order to stay present and push towards the future. And in our numbness, we become disconnected from the one thing that we should be connected to, the one place we should feel at home and at ease and at full comfort. And that is our body. And in order to alchemize the type of experiences you want for yourself, that's the last thing you need to be disconnected from. Your body is your home. And if you can't feel at all, let alone feel at peace within your home, then how can you create? When we disconnect from our home, we lose ourselves, we lose our connection to spirit, and naturally, you can't manifest what you need because there is no connection. And even when we do tend to manifest, it is usually out of alignment with ourselves and our purpose, and usually brings about something that we absolutely do not need or that we do not desire. So, if you are like myself and find yourself always overthinking, over processing, I want to urge you to take some time to find and reconnect with your body. I'm going to name a couple of things. And if even just the thought of some of these make you cringe or tinge or tense up a little bit, then I would say that you probably are more disconnected than you think. So, a few things easy that you can do. We'll start easy. It's just getting outside and walking, spending time in nature, taking time to just feel sensory, touching trees, grass, bodies of running water, because it gets you back into the senses of literally feeling. And that was one of my favorite, and still is one of my favorite things to do. Something that I did that was kind of hard even for me was looking in the mirror, making eye contact with yourself, and affirming, or even just talking to yourself, sharing how you feel or sharing what happened so you can feel it and feel validated and heard, if by no one else, yourself. Something I like to do with clients all the time, especially when we're in session and it gets a little tough and you can see them checking out, you can see their eyes wandering, is breath work. Easy, deep breaths. You can do this anywhere, anytime. This is something I have actually done a long time in my life. I find myself out of nowhere. Like, I do that all the time. Out of nowhere, I would just be like, whew, because that deep exhale and release just does something for me. It gets me together and it helps me feel. Also, sitting with the discomfort. Sometimes it's silence. That's something that helped me a lot. Turning off the TV, logging out of socials, just sitting in the silence. That helped me to start to reconnect with myself. Also, letting myself feel the feelings. There have been so many times as of late, especially more recently that I've really been getting into this, where I will just start crying in public around people I don't know, people I do know. I'm on a walk, I'm listening to something, something moves me, I will start crying. And what I realize is that the crying is not always pain or discomfort. Sometimes the crying is just a release of energy to let me know that I'm present and I'm feeling. So let yourself get the tears out if you need to. And one of the last ones, which may or may not work, is meditation. And this one is a little bit trickier, but I always encourage people to meditate how you can. Don't focus on what you think the meditation should be or should feel like. Meditate how you can. So if meditation for you is walking, then walk. If meditation for you is sitting still, is lying down, is sitting cross-legged traditional style with your thumbs up, it's going to a place where people meditate together. That's one of the ways I first got started with meditation, was going to a meditation temple where we meditated together, and the collective energy of the meditating made it much easier for me to do it. Maybe meditation is catering to your plants, getting out in the yard, putting your feet on the ground, whatever it is, whatever it feels like for you. Maybe it's listening to jazz, I don't know, maybe it's dancing. But whatever feels good for you and allows you to release and continue to feel, then find it and find your awareness and do whatever works. Because there is no wrong way to find your awareness and tune back into who you are and feel. I promise you, nothing felt as good as the feeling I finally got when I was feeling. It feels so good to feel. It feels so good to feel. And if you haven't felt that in a long time, it's time for you to tap in and start feeling again. One thing that started to ground me again too was finding passion in the things that I used to love, my young self. And going to the library was something I always loved. And now I do it, even now, just wandering around. And that truly grounded me. And find the things that ground you. And once you do, the manifestations will start to find you as well, because you will be able to start pulling them from the source of intention and love instead of desperation and doubt. And from there, you will see how beautiful it will be. And from there, you will see how much beauty and ease they will start to come with. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Please comment if it touched you. Give it a share if you feel like somebody could use this. And give me a little subscribe if you would like more content like this. So until next time.